Dear Dhamma friends, today also we're going to talk about an important sutta from the Samyutta Nikaya, the Sutta Pitaka. So these suttas we learn in Samyutta Nikaya are very small. They contain verses uttered by the Buddha. These verses the Buddha utters are so meaningful. There is a lot to learn that would help us to practice this good Dhamma. The Buddha was living at Savatthi, a Jayata's grove. One night, there was a deity who came to the Buddha, and that deity uttered this verse. He said, "This life, so very short, is led onward. One led on to old age has no shelter. Seeing this peril in death, do good deeds that bring you to joy." So, what he said is, our lives are driven towards old age and death. When the beings are driven towards old age and death, there is no way that they can escape. There is no shelter. So, seeing this danger, one should do good that will bring joy to them in their next lives. So, this is what he says. Actually, this verse was originally said by the Buddha. We can find that in another sutta from Anguttara Nikaya. In that sutta, there were two Brahmins who were 120 years old, and they had done no good in their lives. They just wasted their time. And when they came to 120 years in their lives, they came to visit the Buddha. And at that point, the Buddha uttered this verse said by this deity. The Buddha said this life is driven towards old age and death, and when the beings are driven towards death and old age, there is no shelter that they can run away from that. There is no escape. So these beings should do good that will bring them happiness and joy in their next lives. So Buddha's instruction for those two Brahmins who were very old and who had not done any good in their whole life were to do good before dying. So that would bring them joy in their next lives and help them to find happiness. But here, when this deity says the same verse in front of the Buddha utters a different verse in a different way. Buddha says, "This life, so very short, is led onward. One led on to old age has no shelter. Seeing this peril in death, a seeker of peace would drop the world's bait." So in the previous verse, when that two Brahmins came to the Buddha, who were 120 years old, Buddha told them that they should do merit, they should do good deeds before dying. That would bring them happiness. And when this deity uttered the same verse in front of the Buddha uttered a different verse. What he said was, "A seeker of peace would drop the world's bait." So here, world's bait means sensual pleasures. So bait is what fishermen use to catch fish. And when a fish gets attracted to that bait and gets hooked, there'll be no escape, and that fish will be caught by that fisherman. So just like that, when beings get attached to sensual pleasures, when they face death, there will be no chance for them to practice the Noble Eightfold Path and escape from samsara. They will die being deluded with all the defilements, with impure minds, with craving, and they will be reborn in a different world and will continue to experience suffering throughout samsara. So just like that fish being caught to the fisherman's bait will have no escape, this being who is attached to sensual pleasures will have no escape when they face death. So Buddha said, a seeker of peace should drop the world's bait. They should drop sensual pleasures and practice the noble Dhamma to escape from samsara. So even though the first verse was originally said by the Buddha, it was said to a person who has come to the end of their life, and they will have no chance to practice the noble path to escape from suffering. The only option that he has is to do good, that will bring them joy in their next lives. But there are people who will be able to practice good Dhamma, and they should little by little, while doing good, while practicing merit, they have to let go of sensual pleasures little by little and practice this good Dhamma to realize the Four Noble Truths and escape from suffering. So this is the lesson we should learn from this verse. It's a very small sutta. So I hope this sutta will help you to find peace and happiness and practice this good Dhamma to realize the Four Noble Truths and escape from suffering. May you all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.